So we're holding by the Mishnah Tzadik Aleph Mebeis. Mi shahaya nasui shtei nashim. A man is married to two wives, umesu, and both of the wives dies, and then the husband dies. And now you have two groups of Yisaimim. The Yisaimim of each one of the wives go to the father and they say, we want our mother's ksuba, the ksuba binin dicher. The ain't sham elashtei ksubas, and there's not enough money in the estate, except there's only enough money in the estate to pay for both ksubas, not anymore. Then you split the value of the estate evenly. The each or yerish half. However, if there is an extra dinar, if there's an extra dinar in addition to the value of both ksubas, then each group of Yisayimim get their mother's ksuba, and the meiser dinar you split evenly to Mekayim Yerusha D'Oraisa. Now, in a case where there's not enough, there's not a meiser dinar. If the Yisayimim say, in other words, you have two groups of Yisayimim, one of them is supposed to get would like to get their mother's ksuba, which was valued at $800. One of them wants to get their mother's ksuba, which is only valued at $700. So, and the estate is equal to $1,500 even. So the Yisayimim that are supposed to get the 800 want to make sure they get their ksubas iman. They don't only want to get, they're not content to split evenly because they're going to lose money. They're going to lose money. So they want to get their mother's ksuba. So they say, you know what? We have a great plan. So what do they say? Anachnu ma'alim al nichsei avinu yafet dinar kedei sheyidlu ksubas iman. We will add to the value of the estate an extra dinar in order that we're able to get our mother's ksuba, because then the estate will be worth the value of two ksubas plus a meiser dinar. Says the Mishnah, ain't shaymin lehen. You don't listen to them, rather you evaluate the nechasim bebeis din. It is what it is. If there's money, if the father, the dead father, not only has money muchzak, he has in his bank account, he already has a chazak on the money, but he has beroi. What does beroi mean? He has money that's coming to him. He has money that's coming to him, meaning that the money, his father's father is still alive, and that the grandfather, his father's father, when he dies, is going to be meirish the money to his father. And now the father's estate is not only going to be the value of two ksubas, but it's going to be a meiser dinar. So do we say future earnings are considered as if they already are part of the estate or not? Says the Gemara, Mishnah, the fact that the father's estate in the future is going to be worth more, future earnings, are not considered as if he already got them. Gemara quoted this earlier, that it's not enough to have a meiser dinar in physical cash. It has to be in property. In other words, the father's estate, the property of the estate has to be equal to the two ksubis plus a meiser dinar. And if it's lacking that meiser dinar, even if he has a meiser dinar in the bank account and it's in mizuman, it's in cash, it's ready to go, it's not good enough. Now the Brisa presents a case. He says there are two wives, the first wife has a ksuba of 1,000. The second wife has a ksuba of 500. So tremendous gap. If the husband, when he dies, has more than 1,500 in his bank account, then each one gets their ksuba. Each yoresh gets the ksuba of the mother. If he doesn't have more than 1,500, then you split it evenly. What's the chiddush of the brayse? So the chayr, that's the exact same thing as the Mishnah. What's the brayse adding? So Rashi in the Medur Kama in the Shita Mugveta says the chiddush of the brayse is to point out that the chiddush of the Mishnah is specifically in a case where the value of the ksubas are so drastically different. When there's such a disparity in the value of the ksuba, so now I understand klar why the children of the greater ksuba are going to be so interested in making sure that they get their mother's ksuba, because they're going to be losing a lot of money. That's where the big nafkamina is between Yerusha versus getting ksuba as iman. Pshita merubim v'nismai tukvar zoch b'hen yoshen. What v'nisrabu mai? If at the time of death the value of the estate of the dead man's property was 1,501, and then between death and payment of the ksuba, between the death and going to court and all the court proceedings, it went down, it decreased in value. It went from 1,500 to 1,300, and now it's not enough to pay the ksubas plus a meiser dinar. So sorry, for Zach ben Yarshin, the Yarshin already got the value of the mother's ksuba, and we split it based on that. How do we split it based on that? So the Ritva, the Rishonim point out, you do proportionally. In other words, one set of Yarshin are supposed to get double what the other set of Yarshin are going to do. So if it was 1,500 split 2/3, 1/3, so now you take 1,300 and you'll split it 2/3, 1/3. What happens though if at the time of death it was worth 1,300, not enough to pay the two ksubas plus mashadina? Then it went up in value. It increased in value between death and hamad bedin. Went up in value. Now it is enough to pay the ksubas plus a meiser dinar. What's the halacha then? Do we look at the time of death, or do we say no? Right now, time of hamad bedin is enough to pay 2 ksubas plus meiser dinar. So right now we will evaluate it based on the current reality. So says the Gemara, Toshma, the nichse the bei bar tzartzur, muatin v'nisrabu havu. They were a little bit, and they went up in value. Also, coming to Rabbi Amram, and they came in front of Rabbi Amram. Amar lahu, zil paisinu, go and pay them off. In other words, go pay the Yarshek Suba Gedoyla the value that they should be getting. And despite the fact that at the time of death there was not enough for the 2 ksubas plus a meiser dinar. If at the time of mother bedin there is enough, so then you should pay the Yarshek Gedoyla. Le'ashkechu, they didn't listen to Rabbi Amram. Amar lahu, so Rabbi says, if you don't pay them, I'm going to prick you with a needle that doesn't cause any blood. Rashi means I'm going to put you in nidu. I'm going to put you in cherem. No, that's a chiyuv base, and you have to pay. The time of mother bedin is enough to pay the two ksubas plus meiser dinar. You got to do it. Shadrinu the kami Rav Nachman Amar lahen kishem shemerubim v'nismatu zachu bahen yarshin. Says Rav Nachman, no. Just like merubim v'nismatu, you look at the time of death, zachu ben yarshin, kach merubim v'nisrabu zachu ben yarshin. You look at the time of death and you say, now we look at the time of death. Everything is based on the time of death, and if the hamad bedin, the value of the estate went up, sorry, it's over. We don't change things based on that. There was a man who owed He owed $1,000, a zuz. How about the Trey Apadne? He had two palaces. Zavinu chad v'chamish mei or v'chad v'chamish mei. He sold one for 500 and he sold the second one for 500. Also about Chayiv, Tarv l'chad minayu. So now the Baal Chayiv, who he owes 1,000, comes and takes one palace away. Hader Katarv later he comes and takes a second. The Lokeach who bought the two palaces, the one man who bought two palaces is getting nervous. He really wants to make sure he has one palace at the end of the day. So he goes and takes $1,000 and runs after the Baal Chayiv. Omar Lein, he says to the Baal Chayiv, if palace number one that you took, if you want to evaluate it at 1,000, and just take palace number one for the entire loan that the man owes you, no problem. Below, but if you realize that palace number one is only worth 500, and you want to make sure you get your whole money, shakel alfa zuz, take $1,000 and give me the palaces, v'istalik, and leave the two palaces here. Don't take any palace. That is he allowed to do this? Lokeach allowed to pay off the Baal Chayiv with money instead of the Baal Chayiv collecting the palaces. This is similar to the Mishnah. Just like in the Mishnah, the Yisraelim want to add to the estate of the father after death, in order that they can make sure that they get their greater ksuba. We say ain't shayim them. We don't look at that. We look at the time of death. We don't care what they try to do later. Amalei Rabba midami. Can't compare the two. Over there, if we allow one of the groups of Yisraelim to add to the estate, it's going to cause the other group of Yisraelim to lose out. Meaning, at the time of death, the estate was worth 1,300, not the 1,500 necessary. So now each group of Yisraelim is going to get 650. If we allow the Yisraelim to add on, so now one group of Yisraelim is going to get 1,000. And one group of the Yisraelim is only going to get 500. In other words, they're going to lose 150 from the estate, from their Yerusha. Hacha, miyes l'pseida. Here, the Baal Chav doesn't lose anything. Alpha Yoiv, Alpha Shakel. He gave 1,000, he gets 1,000. Says the Gemara, what if the Baal Chav decides to collect that one palace and evaluate it as 1,000? The tearful, let's say he took it. The Kamakas on how much do we write the shtar? In other words, after he takes it, we go to Beis Din, we write a shtar and say he took this in order to pay the loan that was owed him. So how much do we say the palace is worth in the shtar? Ravina Amar Ba'alfa, he took it as 1,000, took it this one palace for $1,000, 1,000 zuz. Rav Avira Amar Bechamesh Mea, no. He took it as 500, but he thinks it's 1,000. The Hilchas of Bechamesh Mea. I will gather that Maskabes Mea Zuzi, we have almost the exact same case. We're going to see a very slight difference. I will gather that Maskabes Mea Zuzi have like Trey Katini. He had two pieces of land, within the arrow, small piece of land. He sold each one for 50. Also, he took one of them away. He took the second one away. Shokel, the second lokech. Now, in this case, the only difference is there's two lokech lekuchas. In the first case, there's one man who bought two palaces. Here, there's two people. Each one bought one piece of land. So the second man comes, Shakel kubzuzi because l'gabe, and he runs after the Baal Chav. And he says to him, if the first piece of property you took was worth 100 in your eyes, no problem. If not, then take the $100 and get off of both pieces of property. The chiddush is that Lokech number 2 is able to save property for Lokech number 1 as well. So this is the same as the Mishnah Yimam Yisraelim. When they buy, in the Mishnah, as we mentioned, the one with the smaller ksuba is going to lose out. Here, there's no pseida. Why? And if he actually decides to take the small piece of property and evaluate it, the Baal Chav says, okay, I'll take it as $100, even though it's only worth 50. So how much do you write in the shtar? And he dies. In other words, he owes $100 and he dies. Shavik Katina de Ara, he left a small piece of property. That was Shavik Hamishin is worth 50 zuz. Also, the Baal came and took that piece of property. Also, Yasmi, the Yosoimim come, Yavule Hamishin zuz. They come to the Baal and they say, here's 50 zuz, give us the property back. So what did he do? He said, fine, he took the 50 zuz. Then, then he took it a second time, because guess what? Their father owed 100. So you gave me 50, that's half the loan. And this field will be the other half of the loan. Also, mitzvah aliyasam lefroy chayv of the end. Rabbi says the children have an obligation to pay for the chayv of their father. So therefore, hanikamoy mitzvah v'disu. So this $50 they gave was to fulfill the mitzvah. Hashta kitarif, and therefore when the Baal Chov comes and collects the land, that's valid. So they gave the $50 to fulfill the mitzvah, and then the extra is he's able to collect. If when they gave the money to the Baal Chov, they said this is in order to get the land back, then he cannot come and collect anything from them. One. Okay, so continuing from the bottom of the Aleph and the base, Ahu Gabra, the Zabna Lexubasa, the Ime Betoivas Hano. This is a tricky case. You have a man whose mother is owed a ksuba. Now, his mother's alive, and his father's alive. His mother might collect the ksuba. He might get his money eventually, and he might not. Right? He's taking risk. He's taking a risk. He's selling future earnings that he might have a chance of earning. In other words, if the father dies first, then the mother's going to get the ksuba, and he'll get everything. And if the mother dies first, so she's not going to get the money Messiah, maybe ksuba's been different. He's not selling the right to Kesubos being different. He's selling the right to the Mana Messiah that he has a chance of getting. That's called Tovas Hano. And because it's not a guarantee, everyone who's learned Makos is familiar with this. But because it's not a guarantee, therefore its value is a lot less than the actual value of the Kesuba. So what happened here? So this man, this son, went and he sold his chance of his mother's, of the Yerusha from his mother, that he might get of the Kesuba from his mother. He sold that, the chance that he's going to get that money. V'amar he also aimed uma'ara loy mifaitzina lecha. Says, and if my mother comes and protests and nullifies the deal, in other words, she protests and says she doesn't want to give you the money, so guess what? I have no responsibility to reimburse you. I have no responsibility to reimburse you. I'm selling it to you as you have a chance of earning the money, but I have no responsibility to reimburse you if you don't get the money. Shchiva ime v'lo irra. The mother died and she did not protest. V'asa ihu, and now the child who sold the ksuba, sold the Tovas Hano, he comes and he says, I want to be Yerush for my mother's ksuba. I don't want you to get it. I'm going to get it as you Yerush, and you shouldn't get anything. And his svara is, I take the place of my mother. So just like if my mother would have protested, it would nullify the deal. So do I protest to nullify the deal? He's standing in place of his mother, so he can also protest just like the mother can. I understand that he wasn't willing to take on the responsibility of his mother. In other words, his mother came in protest and nullified the deal, so he's not willing to take responsibility to reimburse the purchaser. But responsibility for his own actions, that of course he took responsibility for his own actions. So therefore, if he nullifies the deal, he's going to have to reimburse the buyer. Now that we're talking about selling things without responsibility, what happens if Reuven sells to Shimon a field without responsibility? Meaning, if Reuven owes money and the Baal Chov comes and collects from Shimon, Reuven says, I'm not going to pay you back. You can take my field, buy it from me, no problem, but if it's taken away from you, I'm not going to reimburse you. Now Shimon gets smart. He says, I'm going to sell it back to Reuven. Right now, Shimon sells it back to Reuven, but Shimon sells it back, right? So now the Baal Chov of Reuven, the original Baal Chov, comes and takes it away. So now Reuven goes, I just bought this field from Shimon. I want to get reimbursed for the field that I just bought from Shimon. Shimon has responsibility to pay me. Shimon says, I bought this field from Reuven originally. Hold on. But Reuven doesn't have responsibility to reimburse me. So what happens? Dino does Shimon mafsile. So the halacha is Shimon has to reimburse Reuven. So Shimon not only bought the field, he sold it, and he's got to reimburse Reuven, but Reuven does not have to reimburse Shimon anything. When Reuven said that I'm not going to take responsibility, that's when some random Joe Schmo would come and collect it from him. For whatever reason. Here, where it's his own responsibility, in other words, the whole chayv generated from him, it all started out from him, so then in a Chanami, he would have to reimburse Shimon. If Reuven got the field from Yaakov and sold it to Shimon and then Shimon sold it back to Reuven Bachrayis, was about the Yaakov, the father came with Qatar Flemine, Dina who the Azul Shimon and Mavsile Mine. Then the halacha is that Shimon has to reimburse Reuven. My time Bachov the Yaakov, Kebachov the Almadami. Because the Baal Chov of Yaakov is coming like a random Baal Chov. So if it will be the Baal Chov of Reuven, so then Shimon would not have to reimburse Reuven. But if it's a Baal Chov, a random Baal Chov from whoever Reuven got it from, i.e. Yaakov, versus whoever Reuven bought it from, so then in a Chanami, Shimon would have to repay Reuven, and Reuven would not have to pay Shimon anything because he sold the Shaloi Be'ach rights. Ad Kan. Everyone okay?